friends, welcome back to my channel at Sabinas Mutfa. Today we're making bulochka, as you can see, but this bulochka is different from the recipe from my cheese bulochka. This one's more sweet than savory and it has a delicious feeling. You will love it, I can guarantee for you. Well, let's get started. Today we have a teaspoon of salt, we have 3.5 cups of milk, we have some sunflower oil, just a little bit. We have a whole egg. We have 2 butters unsalted. We have a cup and a half of warm milk, kabartma tozu. We also have a half cup of sugar, 1 spoon of yeast, a whole cup of flour, and 4.5 cups of flour as well. Alright, let's get started. Right now I am pouring in the warm cup and a half of milk, as you can see. And then I'm going to pour in my half cup of sugar, and then we are going to mix it. As you can see, you're going to mix the sugar and the warm milk together. Mix it well, make sure it melts, the sugar. Alright, let's add our next ingredient, shall we? We're going to add our spoon of yeast, soup spoon of yeast. We're going to mix that as well. Mix it thoroughly well, so it melts as well in the warm milk. And now I'm going to add in our flour, our cup of flour. I'm going to add that all in at once, and then I'm going to start mixing well. I don't want to see any flour once mixing, so I'm going to mix really thoroughly and really good. Make sure you get the edges as well, and just keep mixing for at least 3 minutes. So we mixed for at least 3 minutes, and now we're going to rest it with a towel on top for 10 minutes. After our 10 minutes is up, this is how it should look. And then we're going to add our hamur kabartma tozu inside. Now we're going to add in our teaspoon of salt. The next step is we're going to add in our whole egg. Now let's move this lovely yellow bowl to the side. There we go, and let's bring our oil with our 2 sticks of unsalted butter. 1, 2, and 3. Bam! All melted. Then we are going to add our melted butter inside the bowl as well. After adding the butter, we're going to start mixing really well and get the egg all mixed in with the butter all mixed all together. Just keep mixing. I would say thoroughly for at least 4 to 5 minutes. You want everything to be all mixed in together. As you can see, I mixed everything in well. Now we're going to slowly add in our flour. I'm going to add slowly by doing like 2 to 3 spoons of flour, and then mix, and then get all the flour already incorporated with those, and then add more flour and mix, and then it's going to go into a thick doughy texture, and that's when you're going to get it out, and then that's when you're going to slowly go in with your hands, which I will show in the next slide. Our dough has become thicker, and now we're just going to start kneading it getting it from the bottom to the top. I would add some flour to the surfaces so it doesn't stick as much. While adding flour to the surfaces, you're just going to knead your dough over and over, and when you know your dough is ready, you're going to start feeling your dough just stick to your hand a little bit. If it sticks to your hand too much, I would still keep kneading it with the flour, but as you can see, it's only sticking to my hand just a little bit, which is perfect. That's when you know you can stop kneading your dough, and that is the perfect opportunity. Just get the flour surfaces out the way and stop adding more flour basically. And then we're going to go on to the next step. I did a half cup of teacup of oil. Still was a little too much, but I got the corners, and once I was done with the corners, I poured a little bit back in. So I placed the dough inside our bowl, and I got the corners all oiled up as well. And you can see that I added too much oil, so I also put some oil back inside the teacup. If it's too much. And I put a saran plastic wrap on top so no air gets out, and I put a towel on top of it. Big tip, if you put this on top of your oven that is preheated, it will be great. While our dough is resting for a good hour, we are going to start doing our filling. So we have a whole egg, and then we have a pack of the kabartma tozu. I'm going to pour that in real well, make sure I don't miss anything. And then after I add the kabartma tozu, I'm going to add in our whole cup of sugar. Get that in there. And after adding the whole cup of sugar, I'm going to try to mix that in. In the next slide, I will show you what texture you're looking for, but you're just going to mix and mix until it's all incorporated and you don't see any sugar. As you can see, I can make like cute little bow tie textures with this, and it's like not too thin, but it's also not too thick. It's a perfect texture. This is when you should stop mixing. Alright, here comes the hard part. We're going to add our half cup of flour inside. And then we're going to mix that really well. You're going to mix really good until it's no bubbly parts. You can see there's a little bulb, so we're going to keep mixing really well. And after mixing for a good thoroughly 5 to 8 minutes, then we're going to go to the next step. I'm adding the first cup of milk of the 3.5 cups of milk that I had earlier. And I'm going to mix that first before adding the rest of it. And then after I mix it really well, I'm going to then add the remaining of the cups of milk and then mix that really well as well. Now we place our filling to be on top of the stove. I'm doing high because I'm going to constantly keep mixing, and you should constantly keep mixing because you don't want the bottom to burn. It will be not good. So just keep constantly mixing until it gets thicker. You will notice it will get slowly thicker. As you can see, it got thicker how it's supposed to be and it's bubbling up. That's when you should stop and take it off the stove. I truly am sorry, I forgot to film the part where I put the filling inside another container, and the filling was kept with the plastic wrap, and also waited for it to cool down for 30 minutes. And then after it was cooled down for 30 minutes, it was all done, and then the dough was done after an hour. As you can see, the dough is done, and then we're going to, bam, cut it into little cute small balls and roll it up. And then we're going to roll it with the roller as wide as you can do it. And then we're going to put in the filling that is cooled. And then we're going to close it up, make the edges all tight. And then I'm going to do a little cute design of cutting it. I made it too wide. I would go wide or thin. I would put more than this many after I saw that, oh, it looks cuter with a little bit more lines, but it is up to you. If you like it this style, you go for it. But I liked it with the style where I did a bit more lines, and then you're going to curve it like so. We are going to make them rest for 10 minutes before we put them inside the oven. For egg wash, I did 2 eggs and 2 spoons of milk, and I'm just going to scramble them up. I'm going to make sure they're incorporated well, and then we are going to egg wash the egg in with the milk on top of our dough. Alright, it's time to egg wash the dough. I'm trying to get a lot of egg wash, but also not make it messy at the same time. You don't want them messy, trust me, then it'll feel too eggy. But then I'm going to rub the egg wash over on the dough. Don't forget any corners, get them all eggy and pretty. Then these will go into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes for 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you can see, it is perfectly lovely caramel brown on top, not burnt or anything. And then we are going to add some powdered sugar on top for the lovely aesthetic cute look. As you can see, it looks really pretty. And voila! There you have it, the softest, sweetest bulochka you will taste that will melt in your mouth with the lovely filling. It's so soft, as you can see. Oh, that looks delicious. You guys need to try this. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment right down below. Follow me on Instagram at Turkish_dishes_. You guys have a wonderful day. Please do stay safe out there. Have a wonderful one. Bye bye.